Ever pondered why both Israel and Palestine stake a claim to Jerusalem as their own? This question has long been a source of international intrigue and debate, and it's rooted in a complex weave of history, culture, and religion. Let's take a step back in time, way back to the origins of this conflict. Jerusalem, an ancient city with a history that spans millennia, is sacred to three of the world's major religions: Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. This shared reverence has made the city a point of contention, a coveted prize. For the Jewish people, Jerusalem holds a deep historical and spiritual significance. The city was the site of the first and second temples, the holiest places in Judaism. It's where King David established his capital around 3,000 years ago, and where Solomon built the first temple. This deep-rooted connection has led many Israelis to view Jerusalem as an integral part of their national and religious identity. In the same vein, Palestinians, predominantly Muslim but also including Christians, have their own historical and religious ties to this city. For Muslims, Jerusalem is the third holiest city after Mecca and Medina, and it's home to the Al-Aqsa Mosque and the Dome of the Rock. Palestinians have also lived in this region for centuries, cultivating the land, building communities, and establishing a distinct culture and identity. But it's not just about religion or historical ties. Jerusalem is also a symbol of national aspiration for both Israelis and Palestinians. It's about the right to self-determination, the freedom to govern, and the desire for sovereignty. Over the years, these intertwined histories and deep-rooted beliefs have fueled a fierce competition for control over Jerusalem, each side asserting its own narrative and each side believing in its own right to the city. In understanding the roots of this dispute, we can see why neither side is willing to back down. The struggle for Jerusalem is more than a political conflict. It's a clash of histories, identities, and beliefs. The city embodies a shared past and a contested present, making it a key piece in the complex puzzle of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. As we untangle the historical threads of this conflict, we come across a critical juncture, the Six-Day War. This war was a pivotal moment that significantly shaped the current landscape of the Israel-Palestine conflict. But what sparked this war between Israel and its neighboring Arab states? In the weeks leading up to the war, tensions were high. The Arab states, led by Egypt, had been rallying forces along Israel's borders, causing alarm in the Israeli camp. The immediate trigger was Egypt's closure of the Straits of Tiran to Israeli shipping, a move that Israel considered a casus belli, an act of war. On June 5, 1967, Israel launched a preemptive strike against Egypt, taking the Arab coalition by surprise. This marked the beginning of the Six-Day War, also known as the June War, or the 1967 war. Over the next 6 days, Israel's military forces swiftly overpowered those of Egypt, Jordan, and Syria. They seized control of the Gaza Strip and the Sinai Peninsula from Egypt, the West Bank and East Jerusalem from Jordan, and the Golan Heights from Syria. The aftermath of the war dramatically altered the geopolitical landscape. Israel's victory and territorial expansion were seen as a demonstration of its military prowess, boosting its international image. However, this territorial gain also meant that Israel was now in direct control of a large Palestinian population, further complicating the struggle for Jerusalem and the broader Israel-Palestine conflict. The Six-Day War was indeed a significant event in the history of this conflict. It not only reshaped the borders and power dynamics in the region, but also deepened the grievances and heightened the stakes for both Israel and Palestine in their struggle for Jerusalem. As we delve deeper into this narrative, we can see how the echoes of this war still resonate in the ongoing tussle for this ancient city. Let's delve deeper into Israel's claim to Jerusalem, an assertion that echoes through history and religion. Jerusalem carries a profound historical and religious significance for the Jewish people, as it was the beating heart of the ancient kingdom of Israel. King David, a central figure in Jewish, Christian, and Islamic traditions, declared Jerusalem as his capital around 3,000 years ago, laying the roots of Jewish claim to the city. His son Solomon constructed the first temple, a sacred place of worship that symbolized Jewish identity and faith. Even after the destruction of the Second Temple by the Romans in the 1st century, Jerusalem continued to hold a central place in Jewish life. The Western Wall, the last remnant of the temple, has been a place of pilgrimage and prayer since then, a living testament to centuries of Jewish history. But there's more to the legitimacy of Israel's claim than its historical and religious significance. It's deeply intertwined with the nation's tumultuous past, marked by battles and exile. The Babylonian exile in the 6th century BC and the Roman conquest triggered the dispersion of Jews beyond Israel, known as the Jewish diaspora. Despite the harsh trials of history, the longing for Jerusalem remained a constant theme in Jewish culture and liturgy. This yearning crystallized in the Zionist movement of the late 19th and early 20th centuries, which advocated for the return of Jews to their ancestral homeland. This movement was a response to the trials and tribulations faced by the Jewish people, including the horrific events of the Holocaust. In 1948, the establishment of the State of Israel marked the end of nearly 2 millennia of Jewish diaspora. The battles and struggles had finally led to the return of Jews to their ancestral land. Jerusalem once again became the political, cultural, and spiritual center for the Jewish people. Israel's claim to Jerusalem is not merely a political aspiration but a culmination of centuries-old spiritual yearning, a symbol of cultural identity and a beacon of hope that has guided the Jewish people through history's trials. This claim is deeply rooted in history, marked by battles and exile. It's a testament to the perseverance and faith of a people who have fought to maintain their connection with this ancient city. Given this rich tapestry of history and the struggles the Jewish people have endured, Israel's claim to Jerusalem is indeed legitimate and rooted in a profound historical context. Taking a closer look, we see Palestine's claim to Jerusalem. This claim, much like Israel's, is deeply rooted in the annals of history and the core tenets of religion. Jerusalem is not just a city to Palestinians, but a symbol of their cultural and religious heritage, deeply resonating with the Arab and Muslim world. Let's delve deeper into the historical. The land that we now call Palestine has been the dwelling place of an uninterrupted Arab civilization for centuries, extending back to a time before the advent of the modern state of Israel. The native inhabitants of this land, who later became known as Palestinians, considered Jerusalem as their historical capital. But who were these people before they became Palestinians? The word Palestine is derived from the word Philistia, denoting the ancient Philistines. This region has witnessed the birth, growth, and fall of many ancient civilizations. From the Canaanites to Philistines to the Hebrews, each group has left an enduring mark on the region's cultural and historical landscape. Jerusalem, to the Palestinians, is not just a city but a testament to their rich and diverse past. Their claim to the city is not based solely on historical continuity but also on their identity as the descendants of the ancient inhabitants of this land. Now, shifting our attention to the religious aspect, Jerusalem, or Al-Quds as it is known in Arabic, holds the third highest sanctity in Islam, following Mecca and Medina. It's here that the revered Al-Aqsa Mosque stands, considered the third holiest site in Islam. As per Islamic tradition, Prophet Muhammad was miraculously transported from the sacred mosque in Mecca to Al-Aqsa during the night journey, a significant event in Islamic history. This journey alone bestows upon the city a high degree of spiritual importance for Muslims worldwide. Furthermore, Jerusalem had been under Muslim rule for most of the time since the 7th century, interrupted only by the Crusades in the past 7 decades. This extensive period of Muslim rule strengthens the bond between Jerusalem and the Arab and Muslim world. In essence, Palestine's claim to Jerusalem is deep-seated in a profound historical, cultural, and religious connection. The city's importance in Islam, the historical land of Palestine, the continuity of Arab presence, and the identity of the people before they became Palestinians, all weave together a compelling and complex claim. When viewed through this lens, Palestine's claim to Jerusalem emerges as equally rooted in history and religion, if not more. What does the world think about this complex issue? The international community's stance on the Israel-Palestine conflict is as multifaceted as the issue itself. The United Nations, for example, has been a key player in the narrative. Over the years, it has passed numerous resolutions concerning the conflict, some of which recognize the legitimacy of both Israel and Palestine. Under international law, the principles of self-determination and territorial integrity often come to the forefront. These principles imply that both Israelis and Palestinians have the right to govern themselves in their own territories. However, Defining these territories has been a significant challenge. This is where the idea of a two-state solution enters the conversation. It suggests the creation of two separate states, Israel and Palestine, living side by side in peace. This idea has been endorsed by numerous countries and international organizations, including the UN, as a potential way to resolve the conflict. But the road to achieving this solution is fraught with difficulties, not least of which is agreeing on the borders of these proposed states. Furthermore, there are controversies surrounding these international viewpoints. Some argue that international law and UN resolutions have not been effectively enforced, allowing the ongoing tension and conflict. Others contend that the international community's involvement has at times been biased, further complicating the situation. On a broader scale, the Israel-Palestine conflict is often seen as a litmus test for international diplomacy and conflict resolution. How the world responds to this issue can set precedents for other territorial disputes. The international community's perspective, therefore, is not just about picking sides. It's about understanding the complexities, navigating the controversies, and striving for a just and peaceful resolution that respects the rights and aspirations of both Israelis and Palestinians. The international community's perspective adds another layer to this intricate issue. So, where do we go from here? The path ahead is certainly fraught with difficulty, but it doesn't mean it's impossible to traverse. The key to any resolution lies in understanding and acknowledging the deep historical and emotional ties both Israel and Palestine have with Jerusalem. In this richly textured tapestry of history, Jerusalem stands as a city of profound significance to both nations. The echoes of the past resonate in the hearts of the people, shaping their identities and their claims to this revered city. Recognizing the depth of these connections, acknowledging their validity, is the first step towards a possible resolution. But acknowledgement alone is not enough. The solution demands more than just understanding. It calls for action. It calls for dialogue. A peaceful dialogue that transcends the barriers of politics, religion, and historical grievances. A dialogue that fosters empathy, respects differing narratives, and seeks common ground. Remember, the goal isn't about deciding who has the stronger claim. It's about finding a way for these narratives to coexist, for Jerusalem to be a city that embodies unity, not division. A city that stands as a symbol of peace, not conflict. A city where the prayers of different faiths echo harmoniously under the same sky. And while the road to resolution may be winding and steep, the international community has a crucial role to play. Through mediating negotiations, enforcing international law, and encouraging cooperation, they can help guide the way towards a peaceful coexistence. The challenges are significant, but so are the stakes. The city of Jerusalem, with its ancient walls and timeless stories, deserves nothing less than a future defined by peace and mutual respect. It's a tall order, but one that humanity must strive to fulfill. In the end, it's clear that both Israel and Palestine have valid claims to Jerusalem. The path forward, though challenging, must be one of peace, understanding, and compromise. In the midst of all this complexity, there's one thing that remains clear: the power of hope. This power is evident in the resilience and determination of Israelis and Palestinians who, despite the ongoing conflict, continue to live, dream, and aspire. It's seen in the eyes of the children who play amidst the ancient walls, innocent and hopeful, their spirits untainted by the politics and prejudices of the world. Their laughter echoes through the city, reminding us of what's at stake and what we're fighting for. The power of hope is also manifested in the inspiring stories of individuals and groups who are working towards peace and understanding. From grassroots initiatives that foster dialogue between Israeli and Palestinian youths to international organizations that provide aid and support to those in need, these efforts are a testament to the human spirit's capacity to transcend conflict and division. And finally, the power of hope lies in the potential for a brighter future, a future where empathy, dialogue, and compromise triumph over division and conflict. A future where the city of Jerusalem becomes a beacon of coexistence and harmony, its ancient streets echoing with the sound of peaceful coexistence. It's a future that may seem distant, but one that is within our reach if we dare to hope, to dream, and to act. Remember, it's in our hands to write the next chapter of Jerusalem's history. Let's make it one of peace, unity, and hope. I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you for taking the time to watch our latest video, Jerusalem, A Tale of Two Claims. Your support and engagement mean the world to us. Exploring the historical narratives surrounding Jerusalem is a journey that becomes even more meaningful when shared with a community as passionate and insightful as ours. Your comments, likes, and shares contribute to the vibrant discussions we aim to foster on Now History. Whether you're a longtime subscriber or a new viewer, your presence enriches our channel. Remember that history is a tapestry woven with diverse perspectives, and your perspectives and thoughts add immeasurable value to our collective understanding. If you enjoyed the video, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to Now History. Your support helps us continue creating content that delves into the fascinating stories that shape our world. Thank you once again for being a part of Now History. We look forward to continuing this journey together and exploring more historical tales.